The child's voice was barely louder than the hum of the station's failing lights. Are you going to sell me, like Papa did? The question froze Ethan Cole where he stood. For a long moment, the cargo bay of Outpost K-17 seemed impossibly quiet. Rusted metal walls, flickering holographic signs, the distant roar of freighters coming and going. Everything blurred into the background as Ethan stared down at the tiny alien girl clutching the hem of his coat. She was small even by her species standards, no taller than Ethan's knee. Her skin shimmered with soft opalescent hues, colors dulled by hunger and fear. 4 delicate eyes blinked up at him, wide and uncertain. A thin tail wrapped nervously around her ankle, the universal sign of distress among the Lunari. Ethan's throat tightened. He had crossed half the galaxy to inspect this outpost for the Human Interstellar Aid Corps. K-17 was infamous, a trade hub in name only, where desperate refugees were bought, sold, and reclassified as contract labor. Ethan had seen slavery before, but never this. He slowly crouched down so he was eye level with her. "What's your name?" he asked gently. The girl hesitated. Luma. Luma, Ethan repeated softly. I'm Ethan. And no, I'm not going to sell you. Her eyes flickered with confusion. That's what Papa said, she whispered. Something inside Ethan cracked. Luma's father had been Lunari, tall, silver-skinned, with light patterns that shifted with emotion. Ethan learned this from station logs and whispered conversations among dock workers. The Lunari were a peaceful species, not built for war or exploitation. When famine hit their outer colonies, many fled to human-controlled space, believing the stories about human compassion. Some found it. Others found K-17. Luma's father had sold himself first. Long-term labor contract. Hazardous mining. Temporary, he had promised, according to the records. Enough credits to keep his daughter fed while he worked. But contracts on K-17 were traps. He never came back. When the credits ran out, the broker had turned to Luma. Children fetched higher prices. Ethan felt sick as he read the details on his datapad while Luma sat quietly beside him, swinging her feet and humming softly to keep herself calm. Where is Papa now? She asked suddenly. Ethan swallowed. He worked very hard to protect you, he said carefully. That matters. She nodded, accepting the answer with the heartbreaking trust only children possessed. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. The image of Luma asking that question replayed over and over in his mind. He thought of Earth, of history books, of words like never again that humanity loved to say and struggled to keep. By morning, he had made his decision. Buying a child's freedom felt wrong, but leaving her there felt unforgivable. Ethan walked into the broker's office with his jaw clenched and his heart pounding. The broker, a slick, mena-limbed being with gold implants, smiled thinly. Interested in the Lunari girl? It asked. Rare coloration. Very obedient. She's not property, Ethan said. The broker laughed. Everything here is property, human. Ethan transferred the credits. More than the girl was worth. Enough to erase the broker's interest in asking questions. When the transaction completed, Luma's identification tag flickered from asset to released. She stared at the screen in awe. I'm free, she whispered. Yes, Ethan said. You are. She hesitated, then grabbed his hand tightly. You won't sell me later? She asked again, fear creeping back into her voice. Ethan's eyes burned. No, he said hoarsely. Never. The Mercerbound, Ethan's ship, was small but clean, designed for transport and aid delivery, not combat. Luma explored it cautiously, touching everything with careful wonder.
"Is this yours?" she asked.
"It's ours for now," Ethan corrected. That night, when turbulence rattled the hull during a hyperspace jump, Luma crawled into the seat beside him and fell asleep clutching his sleeve.
Ethan didn't move for hours.
He sent a message to Aid Corps Command, formally resigning. Then he filed a private petition. Request for guardianship approval, cross-species, emergency circumstances.
He expected weeks of bureaucracy.
Instead, trouble came first. A Slava patrol intercepted the Mercer-bound 2 systems out, claiming Luma was stolen property.
They threatened to seize the ship.
Ethan stood between them and the cockpit, hands shaking but steady. "She's under human protection," he said. "You touch her, and every transponder in this sector lights up with your location." They laughed, until Ethan triggered the beacon anyway. Human warships didn't arrive.
But human memory did.
Within minutes, independent captains, traders, and patrol vessels flooded the area.
No one wanted to be recorded as the ones who reclaimed a child.
The slavers jumped away. Luma watched from behind Ethan's leg, trembling.
"You fought them for me," she said.
"Yes," Ethan replied. "That's what grown-ups are supposed to do."
Life didn't become easy after that. Luma had nightmares. She hoarded food.
She flinched whenever someone raised their voice. Ethan learned patience he never knew he had, learned to explain, reassure, and sometimes just sit quietly while she cried. On Haven 3, a mixed-species colony world, they found a place to stay. Humans there welcomed Luma cautiously at first, then warmly. Lunari survivors came forward when they heard of her. They told her stories of her people, of music made from light and festivals that turned the night sky into living art.
Luma listened wide-eyed.
"She would have loved this," one elder said softly. "Your father."
Luma held Ethan's hand tighter. "Papa Ethan?" she asked one evening.
He froze again, but this time, the feeling was different. "Yes, Luma? If my real papa could see you, would he be happy?" Ethan knelt in front of her, tears finally spilling free. "I think," he said, voice breaking, "he would be proud of you. And grateful to know you're safe."
She smiled and hugged him fiercely. Years passed.
Luma grew taller, her colors bright and radiant again. She learned human languages and Lunari traditions, bridging 2 cultures with effortless grace. Ethan aged a little faster than he expected, but he never regretted his choice. The guardianship petition was approved.
The records changed.
Luma Cole, citizen of Haven 3. On the anniversary of the day they met, Luma asked Ethan to return with her to K-17.
The station was quieter now.
Human pressure and exposure had changed it.
Some called it reform. Others called it fear. They stood in the same cargo bay.
"Are you sad?"
Ethan asked. Luma shook her head.
"I wanted to remember," she said. "So I never forget why I won't let this happen to anyone else."
She looked up at him, eyes calm and strong. "You didn't sell me," she said.
"You chose me." Ethan smiled through tears.
"No," he replied softly.
"You chose me too." And in a galaxy that often traded lives like commodities, that simple, stubborn choice became a quiet act of rebellion, one that would ripple farther than either of them ever knew.